Hi everyone, welcome to Film Vets. I'm your host Paul Dixon, and with me is my co-host
Dan Young.
You ready to get weird?
Let's get weird. My little hungry one. Hungry one. Open up a package of my banana.
Dude, I've got chills.
We saw this movie!
Yay!
Daniel Radcliffe stars in the ultra-realistic, really happened biographic film. Dan, what did you think of this movie?
Oh, okay. Are you ready? Are you ready?
Actually,
for this?
I want to preface this before we start. Shut your mouth.
Yes.
No, I want to preface this before we start. I am a huge Weird Al fan. I haven't seen UHF, which I feel bad about. I'm going to watch that soon. I know. It's going to happen. But I got to see Weird Al in Oakland many years ago. He is phenomenal as a performer. His songs.
What tour?
What
tour?
No. I thought, no. You know, it was 2010. So whatever year that was, I don't know.
All right.
I'm glad I got to see him live. I will never forget that experience. I just wanted to preface this review with that. Dan, tell us your thoughts. Go into it.
It's fantastic that you brought that up because I also wanted to preface this with I am a huge Weird Al fan. I actually saw his concert, the Running with Scissors tour, back in like the late 90s, the early 2000s.
Nice.
I went with my aunt and uncle. They took me to go see Weird Al because I was such a huge fan when I was a kid. I loved it. I got to hear some of the classics. I got to hear some of the new stuff, or new stuff at the time. But he is so remarkable in just how he approaches things. And it comes through with this movie. And this is where it's going to be what we call a seamless transition. Where he does parodies of songs so well that you almost forget the real song. Like White and Nerdy, that's it for me. That's the song. I don't even remember the other. I think it's Riding Dirty. I actually hated Riding Dirty. I love White and Nerdy. So go figure.
100% right there with you.
Amish Paradise 100%. And like
I hear is Amish Paradise.
To forget the originals are there. Exactly.
All I hear,
every time Gangsta's Paradise starts, I'm like, ooh, and then I hear Coolio, and I'm like, oh, okay. like this is adequate. I know the words, but what he does with the songs is exactly what he did with this movie. He kind of his own story and made a parody of it. You can't tell me how absolutely amazing that is. And not just a parody. Like, yeah, it was a comedy. Like, I saw UHF. I love UHF. UHF is a hot mess all over the place. It's got an identity, and the identity is strange. It's absolutely nuts. This movie's a lot more reserved. It's mature, kind of like Weird Al has over the years, but is amped up to 11. If you haven't seen the movie, this is the point where you need to stop.
Spoilers!
Yes. During like the dream sequence, it's not a dream sequence, it's an absolute terrifying hallucination where he comes up with, I don't even, what song was it? It was,
I think it was Eat It. Yeah.
Yeah, where he comes up with Eat It.
His original song. Totally original.
Yes, that was totally ripped off by Michael Jackson.
I knew it.
It's absolutely nuts. So I love this movie so much because does what Weird Al does, but in a different medium, to a biography, to just everything. Like it's awesome. I hope Weird Al is watching this. Thank you. Please keep doing what you're doing. I absolutely love it. And I know that there's more than just me. There's this guy over here too, who, yeah, we lost you for a second.
Sorry, what the hell? Why am I all weird looking?
What do you look like that for?
I'm weird.
There you are. Welcome back. But yeah, it's just so remarkable to see somebody taking life and not taking it so seriously. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
What did you think?
I love this movie. I thought it was hysterical. I was in hysterics the entire film almost. I think it was brilliant that he sprinkled his origin in the film with real things that happen. So something that I read online or I heard online was that he did record his song My Bologna in a bathroom. A public bathroom.
Yes.
And I didn't know that. That's crazy. And so it's sprinkling those little bits in and then suddenly becoming the greatest musician ever and having an affair with Madonna and then going off and killing a drug lord out in the jungle. It's great. It's so great. And Daniel Radcliffe was kind of the perfect person to play Weird Al in the weirdest way. He just was. He was so good. Funniest scene for me in the entire film was when he's doing Gangster's Paradise. Sorry, Amish Paradise. And in the crowd, everybody's going crazy. And you see Coolio just said, I was like, this is perfect.
I died. I think I died there. My pulse stopped.
Especially since, he recently passed away. So it was kind of like a tribute in a way. And it just works so well. One of my other favorite scenes was he comes out of an egg. Yeah. He's all ripped.
That was so good too.
Dear God.
Playing the guitar.
And Weird Al, of course, playing the executive.
That was beautiful because out of all the characters in the movie, he was just like the only normal one. So it was strange to watch because he's like, oh, okay, tone it down. Hey, I wanted to let you know. Like, he was just like the only normal, real level person in the whole thing. And it was so jarring to watch. It was so great.
I knew when this film was going to be something special and fun and just exactly the type of humor I love. The scene where the accordion, I forget his name, the actor, I love him from Reno 911. He shows up as the door salesman and the dad just immediately starts beating the crap out of him. And he's just, it's so bizarre, but so perfect. I love that. And it devolved from there into a great way.
So quickly.
So quickly. And she's like, we're trying to have a conversation with my son. And he's over here bleeding to death.
Yep. I'm sorry. Or how about Lin-Manuel Miranda as the surgeon?
I looked at I was like,
you have to just pay attention and you can spot so many different celebrities throughout the movie, but they're not trying to be outsized roles. They're just kind of super low profile. It's so cool.
Yeah, the pool scene where you have Pee Wee Herman, you have Jack Black showing up as a character. I don't know who he was exactly, but that whole scene was brilliant. I loved all of that.
It was so good because I found myself sitting there not trying to spot the real celebrities, but trying to name all of the 80s celebrities. Yeah. Like, okay, there's Pee Wee Herman. Okay,
there's Alice Cooper.
Alice Cooper. And, oh my God, Devo, whenever they first walked in. Like, you just, it's such a wild ride of a movie.
I love Madonna is the villain. And she is just so
at the end, she's got the scar. And she's just like the full caricature of full bad guy.
I love that scene so much because it felt so much like Naked Gun. When the guy is sitting there in the audience just getting the gun ready. And nobody's batting
an eye.
And then he shoots, before he shoots him, you see Weird Al, no! And Weird Al died.
In the very last scene, the arm shoots up and grabs her.
I forgot about that.
So he's a zombie now?
Oh God, they got to do a sequel now. Yeah.
They have to.
There's so much to love. You have all the beats you have from other stories, like Walk Hard did that. They parodied Walk the Line, where he did drugs. His dad was a terrible person to him. All these tropes that you see in these other movies. He's like, yeah, I did all that stuff, and I was hardcore and a badass. And it's like Weird Al's like the squeakiest clean person ever, and it's just that's what makes it so much funnier. I was waiting for the dad to just say something like, the wrong kid died or something. Like, he just do that.
Oh, yeah. Speaking of which, the factory scene where he pushes the button, he sees another button, and he pushes it, and then the guy is on the conveyor belt getting killed, and he's like, oh. And then his dad's there, and he's like,
hey, I love he's asking the guy, so what did we make at this factory? And he's like, he just walks away. Oh, God.
We never found out what they made. I was
No.
looking forward to him
No.
going to the factory so we could find out what the factory made.
You know they were never going to reveal that. They're
But there was a
never
part
gonna
of me
reveal-
that I was hoping it was going to be something ridiculous, and it was exceeded expectation. Like, because it was ridiculous, we never found out what it was. Like, the whole movie was just an excess in expectation.
Yes, and in the scene where he's made up with his dad. He's there now. He's getting the award, and the first thing he says is, "Suck it, old man." It's just like his dad's watching the TV, and he's just like, "Oh, okay." So great. It just there's
Like, seriously, there
your
is
father.
not a lot of things not to love.
Yeah, no, and it's like I was saying, Daniel Radcliffe. You do not immediately think that guy should play Weird Al, but he just does it so
Now I don't think
well.
there's anyone else better suited other than Weird Al.
I will say this, there was a trailer for a Weird Al parody movie like this that they made from the same director, starring Aaron Paul as Weird Al.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a good thing. Like, I bet that's bizarre weird.
Yeah, I know. I hear it's really fun. I think I saw it a long time ago, but I just don't remember it. But I'm gonna have to watch that. But it has the whole Jim Morrison vibe, where he's just kind of going crazy on the microphone and. Oh, that was a great scene. That was a great scene where he's just like, "You want to see it?" He pulls out the accordion.
Yeah, you want to see it? I'll whip it out, and then he picks up the accordion and gets tackled.
You mean the devil's squeeze box?
The devil's squeeze box. Oh, golly, that is so great.
So this is a big recommendation, right? I mean,
yes, if I had the extra thumbs, I'd give it 4 thumbs up. I'd give it all a thumbs up. I don't
thumbs
know
up.
like how many digits I can raise for this movie.
Yeah, it's just phenomenal. I'm so happy it's out there. I'm gonna have to watch it again. It was just so enjoyable.
Oh God, yeah, I'm absolutely
and
going to.
I
go back
want
and
more
watch
of these kind of parody films that are made well, because for a long time there was a lot of parody films that were not great. We had a lot of the scary movies, the later ones that just kind of petered out.
Yeah, the first one was awesome. Like, I remember being
like the first
younger
two.
and going seeing that. I don't like the second one as much. The first one was just enough of a shock. Beyond that, it felt like it was trying to rehash jokes. Whereas Weird Al is more of a cleaner kind of comedy where it's funny, but it's timelessly funny. It's not
there's
dated.
something
Like,
fun.
if you went back and watched Scary Movie 1, it would feel dated. It would feel forced. It's like, okay, this is funny. It's a little nostalgic. But Weird Al is always just a little bit more of a timeless kind of comedy, because it stands on its own without needing to be senselessly crude.
I can't argue with that. And I think there's something really special about having a timeless sensibility with these films, because, like you said, they feel dated. They really do. And I can still go back and watch them. I actually saw Scary Movie not too long ago. It's still really funny. But you're right, especially because a lot of those films came out at the time and they're parodying that. Whereas this is so encompassing of everything with the music biographies that we've seen, the music biopics, and just the tropes that come along with that.
I do want to throw out one last final note.
Yeah.
Absolutely go watch Weird, the Al Yankovic Story. It's phenomenal. It hits every, comedic note perfectly to me. It pushes a weird envelope. It is as advertised. It's weird. But I also want to throw out there, like, if you want to take a step back in time to the 80s to look at a cocaine-fueled fever dream from Weird Al when he was younger, go watch UHF. I can't suggest that one enough either, because you really see where things kind of progress from that movie. In this movie, he kind of borrows some elements. You'd be surprised, like the jungle scene. There's a scene where he parodies Rambo in UHF, and it's kind of something similar, but it also is really over the top with what's that movie, Hot Shots? Like Hot Shots Part 2. You remember that movie where he's in the forest and it's like a Rambo ripoff, like that full tilt parody? That's what UHF is, but it's original. Like, it's so weird, which
It's
again
weird.
is on brand. This
brand.
is as advertised.
That's
so
true.
Please just go watch both of them. And
I'm gonna watch UHF.
I would suggest
for sure.
UHF first. Like, if you're down for both, watch UHF first, because then you get to see some of the earlier thought processes of Weird Al. That's
great.
what I got.
Cool. I if we're gonna add recommendations for films to watch, I wouldn't say exact parallel to this or anything to do with Weird Al, but if you're looking for a great screwball comedy that you may not have seen, I would say checking out Loaded Weapon 1. It is one of the best parody films I've ever seen. I love that movie so much.
If you love Tim Curry, go watch it.
If you love Tim Curry, Emilio Estevez, Samuel Jackson, and F. Murray Abraham, go check that shit out. Yes. Anyway,
this guy over here made me watch it. And it was one of the best, wildest rides I'd had in a long time. It's just, it's one step beyond weird. It's bizarre.
Yeah.
It's so good.
I still quote to this day, I gotta ask, what does human flesh taste like? Chicken. That's it. It cuts away. He says chicken, and it just cuts to the next scene. Just perfect.
no, nothing.
No reaction.
It's just like,
it's a great parody.
It makes
so
you in the audience just sit there and go, and the movie's moved on from you.
Yeah, it's Loaded Weapon 1. They were supposed to make a Loaded Weapon 2. Didn't happen because of the box office. I love that movie so much. And there's a lot of great parody films out there. But
if Avatar can make a sequel 13 years later, we can totally get a Loaded Weapon 2. Let's get that on.
We just did full circle, baby. Went back to Avatar all the way to the beginning of the day. That was our review of Weird, the Weird Al Yankovic Story. It's a big recommendation from both of us. What did you think? Leave your comments below. Let us know if you loved it or if you're still mad about it or you haven't seen it yet and you want to just give your thoughts. Like, share, and subscribe. And don't forget to check out our other segment called Vet Spotlight, where we talk about celebrities in the entertainment industry who have worked in the industry or are still working today. Thank you, veterans, for your service and for watching this video today. And thanks for reviewing Weird Al with me, Dan.
Absolutely. Wouldn't want to be anywhere else.
That was a treat.
It was. That was so good.
Totally real, totally realistic. It happened.
It
He
happened.
even says it at the beginning.
True story.
True story. Bro. Take
True
care, guys.
story. All right, bye.
Peace.
Oh, Al, you can't smoke in here.
I totally deserve it.